Okay, so now we are moving forward to next exercise in which we are going to focus on generative AI. Now we all have discussed this thing that generative AI allows you to generate original content in various formats. But in this case, in this particular lab exercise, we are going to focus on something which is known as Chat Playground. Now this is going to be very important thing because you are going to understand how to use Chat Playground with the specific language models and then what you can customize with that. Now, first of all, I want you to hit this link, which is aka.ms/chatplayground. And I also suggest that you try to do this thing with me because you do not need any kind of an Azure subscription in order to perform these labs. So remember, you can try this thing besides with this particular video, do side by side thing, and then you will get the same exact output which I'm also getting on my screen. So let's start with this. So I'm there on my chat playground right now. And remember, this chat playground is actually associated with some kind of models which are already part of this. So if you are using GPU based model, we have Microsoft Phi 3 mini model, which is associated with this. And same way, we have another language model, which is also associated for CPU kind of execution. I'm using GPU right now. Right side in this playground, we have some customization, which is called parameters. We have parameters like temperature, top P, max tokens. Now, these are all configurational parameters, which always you have to set up in the playground, so that according to that, your response randomness is going to be controlled with that. In my case, right now, when we are dealing with this particular exercise, remember the goal of this exercise is to explore the effects of system prompt, and then model parameters and the grounding model with the data. So basically this parameters, then there's something which is basically called instructions or system prompt, which we are going to see right now. And then we also want to focus on grounding with the model data. So you can see right now we can upload some files, we can add on some kind of a contextual data from our side, and we will see that how based on that is going to respond appropriately. Initially with this chat, I just want to provide some initial prompts to check whether this is responding or not. And in order to do this thing, I'm just going to ask a very simple question like, who was Ada Lovelace? Now, if I just ask this question, I want to see whether it's answering based on this particular model or not. Remember, this kind of question we answered earlier as well in the previous exercises, but that time it was searching maybe through the language model as well as with the web search. This time, let's see whether it's giving me the response or not. Also, last time I was using my Foundry, which was hosted on the Azure cloud, and that response was very quick and accurate. This time there are chances it's going to be a little slow. You can see right now, you can see the difference. When I ask the question, it's basically taking time to generate the response. It's saying Ada Lovelace, whose full name was Augusta Ada Byron, was an English mathematician. It's basically giving me similar kind of answer, but it's taking a lot of time to generate the answer. Now, one reason of this can be this, that because I'm recording my video right now, and because of the recording, my some part of GPU is already used in that. So that's why it's a little slow, but it's giving me the response. That's a good thing. Now, in order to make sure that these things are working fine, I will not ask more questions in this. Like as per the lab exercise, it's actually showing you that you ask more and more questions into this one. I'm not going to do this thing because it's going to take a lot of time in order to complete these answers actually. So even right now also, you can see it's taking time and giving me the response in a lot of time actually. So basically this is responding right now and I'm happy with this. I'm just going to stop this. You can wait for this and you can just make sure that you're getting a proper answer associations with this. For me, the response is coming. That is more than enough. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this button and I'm going to start a new chat. But before I provide any prompt in this new chat, I want to now do some experiments with my system prompts. And that is where the instructions are going to be very important. Now, what I'm going to do is in the instructions where it's saying that you are an AI assistant that helps people find information, I'm going to change this. Instead of this, I'm going to specify that you are an AI assistant that helps people find information about computing history. Important. You must answer concisely with the single paragraph. Now, single paragraph is also going to be a little lengthy actually, but yeah, I'm okay with this right now. So I'm just providing this kind of a system prompt. Remember, this is going to define that how your chat playground is going to give you response. You can even specify you answer this thing in single line if you do not want a very lengthy answer associated with this. So let me change it and I'm going to say single line because anyhow it's very slow, it's taking time, so I do not want to wait for the full paragraph as well. And now once I do this thing, this is the instruction change which I've done, And I'm going to ask a question, let's say about this one. I'm going to say, what was ENIAC? Now, we discussed this in the previous lab exercise, but let's see what kind of an answer we are going to get from this Microsoft Phi 3 model. It has started giving me the answer. You can see right now it's showing me that ENIAC, which is Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer, was one of the first electronic general purpose computers. Now, this is something which is giving me answer in one line only because I mentioned that I want a single line. If I mention paragraph, then it's maybe going to give me more details with that. And that's how you can control the generation with the help of instructions. Now, let's say right now, I do not want to get answers only in one line. So I'm changing these instructions to back to this, that you are an AI assistant that helps people find information. Back to this one. Now, I'm going to create a new chat. So you understood system prompt or basically instructions which are controlling the output. Now I'm going to create a new chat session again, and I'm going to specify some configuration with my parameters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that one input prompt is explain Murray's law. Now this is something which I'm providing here. The moment I specify explain Murray's law is basically going to take a lot of time. It's going to generate and explain this particular law in this case. Now remember, right now when this is generating this thing, it is using some parameter customization here. Now in this case, I have some parameters configuration here, which is showing me that the temperature for this output is right now 0.7, top P is 0.9, max tokens which I can use is 1000, and repetition penalty is 1.1. This is the default configuration which is there. Now, if I change one of the parameter, let's say I'm going to change temperature, it is mentioned here that this is going to control the randomness. Lower the temperature is equals to more focused, higher the temperature is going to be more creative. Now, right now my temperature is 0.7. If I increase this after this, then it's going to give me more creative answer, and that's what this is trying to say. It's basically going to control the randomness, and the choice of words which are used for generating the response is going to get changed with this. Now let me just wait for some time. I'm not changing anything right now. I'm closing these parameters, but I want to see the first initial output which is associated with this. So I'll just wait for some time for this to complete. Now, as you can see, I already waited for 1 or 2 minutes and it's taking too much time to complete this response right now. But I'm okay with this 1 or 2 paragraph which are generated here. So I'm just going to stop this response. Now, after stopping this, I'm going to change the parameter and I'm going to increase the temperature. Instead of instead of zero point 0.7, which was earlier, now I'm increasing temperature to, let's say, 1.4, which is basically double than that 0.7 actually. And now I'm going to click on close. After this, if I just provide the same question, which is explain Murray's laws, and then if I provide this input, what is going to happen now is it's basically going to give me the answer, but it's going to add more creativity with this. And when I do this thing, the word choices and the explanation is something which is going to be more creative. And that's something which is controlled by the parameters of your language model. Now let's just wait for this particular output to get generated, and we'll compare the initial two paragraphs which are generated with this one as well. Okay, now as you can see right now, the initial two paragraphs are actually generated. I'm going to stop the generation, and what I want you to observe is see the difference. In the first and the second paragraph generated with this, the first paragraph says that Murray's law, named after the Intel co-founder Gordon Murray, is a prediction and empirical observation that the number of transactions on an integrated circuit doubles approximately every 2 years. Now, this is which is the initial part, while in the other case, is saying that Murray's law refers to the observation made by Gordon Murray in 1965, noting that the number of transistors per square millimeter in the microchip has been. Now you can see it's trying to say the same thing. It's actually giving me the answer of the same input prompt, but the answer is actually using different wordings, different kind of a text, and it's basically more creative compared to the first one. Now this is basically how the temperature is going to control this thing. Now remember, when you play with the parameters, try to change one parameter at a time. Then you'll see the differences in a more appropriate way. Do not change temperature, top P, and other things at the same time. Otherwise, you'll get confused and you'll not understand what particular parameter is impacting on what kind of a response. So that is how it is. Now, if this is working fine, as you can see right now, it's basically giving me the different wordings and different things of the same explanation as well. Then we are good with this. Now let's try to ground the response with the data. Now, whenever you want to provide your own data association with this, Playground supports uploading file kind of an option with this. In this case, you have to provide some kind of a data from your side. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first change my system prompt. So instead of just saying that you are an AI assistant, now I'm going to say you are a helpful AI assistant who supports employee with expense claims. So I'm going to provide some kind of an expense claim mechanism with this playground this time. Now, in order to take care of the expense claim, I have to support some kind of a data also for the grounding in this. And that is where I'm going to use this link, which is aka.ms/expenses-txt. This is basically one text data which is available here, which is specifying the maximum limit of responses which is available inside this, which is showing the maximum limit of expenses which are available for particular expense claim. Like it's showing you here that for the flight, it's $600 per flight. For the meal, it is $90 per meal. And same way, likewise, is showing you all those things. Also, it's saying that to submit a claim, send an email to this email ID with the scan receipt attached. Now, this is one particular text file, which is expenses.txt, which I want to just save and download in my computer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just save this file. So I'm going to do Control S. I'll save this thing somewhere on my computer. So somewhere in the downloads, I'm just going to save this thing with the name expenses.txt. This file I will be using in my upload file section of this particular playground. So I'll go to the tools, I'll click on upload files, I'll go to the download section, and this expenses.txt which we have downloaded, now we are going to upload it here. You can see it just got uploaded here. This kind of multiple files also can be uploaded with this, but that's going to be used as a grounding data for this one. Now, I'm going to provide some kind of a question related to expense right now. You can see my conversation is restarted automatically because I added some grounding data here. And I'm going to provide a prompt that how do I submit a claim? When I do this thing, it's going to check this information, and then it's also going to use the grounding data whenever it's required. So I'm just going to ask this, how do I submit a claim? Let's wait for the response, and then we are going to add another prompt. Okay, now as you can see, it is giving me the proper response here. It's showing me that in order to submit a claim, please follow the steps below. Ensure that the total claim amount for the flight does not exceed the maximum limit of $600. Verify the meal expense you're claiming stay within the limit of $90 per meal. Same for the taxi, ride share, the total cost of the hotel accommodation is basically giving me the full details of how can I submit a claim. Now, once I understood this thing, let's say I'm also asking a specific question, and let me see if it is giving me the proper answer from that data or not, because this whole response is created from my expenses.txt. Let me ask a specific thing now, that how much can I spend on a taxi? So I know that from these details I can understand that maybe for a taxi I can use $75 per trip, but I want to see that whether it's giving me the response based on the same data and it's giving me the one-liner response associated with that particular thing or not. So let's just wait for this particular prompt to be executed. Okay, now I got a proper response. It's saying that giving the maximum limits stated above, you can spend maximum $75 for a taxi or a ride share expenses per trip. It is crucial to check the expense or sign in with the team Costa in your organization to abide by any guidelines. Now, this is obviously following the same kind of response, which is basically giving me from expenses.txt. So that is perfect. And it's giving me the proper response with how I can basically use this data and then submit an expense claim. Now, obviously, same way I can ask a question like how much I can maybe spend for a hotel, or maybe can I claim the cost of my dinner as well or not? And that's something which I can do with this. Now, if this is something which is fine, you understood that how you can use your own data and you can use it for grounding data kind of thing. Remember, in real agents, this is going to be done with something, a concept called retrieval augmented generation. Basically, based on the data which you provide, it's going to retrieve the data and then it's going to generate the response augmented with that particular retrieval. And that's what retrieval augmented generation is all about. Now we'll see this kind of things practically in the coming practical labs, which are a little bit more advanced than this. But Chat Playground is allowing you to do this customization here. And that's what you can see. Now, let's focus on the one last part of this particular lab, which is exploring client code to use a model. Now, obviously, you have seen that how a model can be used in the pre-provided chat playground right now. But how do developers build apps and agents that submit prompts to model and process responses? If you want to understand that thing, that is something which I'm going to show you now. Now, one of the most commonly used application programming interfaces which are used to develop apps that work with large language model is the OpenAI API. In a particular part of Python SDK, you can use OpenAI APIs with your existing logic actually. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to use a chat playground with something which is known as Model Coder. Now, I'm going to share this link on the screen right now. So if you also go to this link, which is aka.ms/model coder, if you go into this one, you will get one particular page which is allowing you to type some kind of a logical code here. This model coder is basically a Python environment, and then it is basically allowing you to, you can see a blank page or a simple chat application or conversation tracking application, kind of some basic API configurations they have given here. Also, you have an editor where you can write a code, and you have a terminal where you can see the executional part of that. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I am going to use this model coder to run an OpenAI style Python in my browser. Now, I have selected blank page, which is available on this top. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some kind of a code from my side. So I copied some code and pasted the code here. Now this code is a very simple Python code, which is importing OpenAI first, is initializing the OpenAI client with some kind of a local URL and the API key which is available there. And then I want to make sure that I'm going to associate with the model with some configuration where I'm specifying some model, some kind of a message, which is basically my system prompt message that you are a helpful AI assistant that answer the questions. Then I'm having a user role, which is saying that tell me about the Eliza chatbot, which is a question which I'm providing, and then I'm going to print the response which is coming from this. Now, this is basically the similar kind of a logical code which we have built, but this time it is using a local WLLMA. Basically, that llama configuration of a small model is what which is going to be used with this. I hope you remember. In our model also, we have a small model kind of an option which is available in that. So for this particular exercise, I hope that is enough. I hope you understood what this chat playground can do. And remember, if you're using Azure Foundry, then in that particular portal, you will get the chat playground for all the choice of models which are available inside that. So you will be able to customize parameters, your system message, and you will be able to use your own data there itself inside the playground.